Yeah, hi friends. Welcome again to my YouTube channel where I share ideas. You may have seen the last number of videos I put on YouTube making an articulated arm made out of wood and very low cost, and I tested it out in the videos and it seemed to work just fine, but since then I've made a complete project, and in this video it'll be short, but I'll just show you some additional features or hints that I have on this articulating arm. And this is my resulting projects here. I'll put a few more extra pictures on it, but it seemed to work quite well, and quite pleased with it to some extent. It gave me the opportunity to do something like this at a very low cost. If I had to buy one at a professional type, it would be too much money and I probably would never get around to doing something like this, but they're very easy to make, and you'll be able to do some of the things that you've always wanted to do but weren't able to. And it's just plain fun to use and to do. So anyway, stand by here and watch a couple segments of me making this hollow turning, and you'll get to see how well it does work. This is my first project that I'm testing out, the articulated arm that I made out of wood and posted on YouTube previously. This piece of wood that I have is yellow cedar, very, very tight grain, and actually I think it's quite difficult to lathe, but I can see no particular problem, but the only thing that I can see at this point is with this boring bar, if I've got 8 inches inside there, once it gets to here, you're starting to get a little vibration from the overhang on the tool, but if it's up close, it's not too bad. This tool rest here is from another boring bar that I made. It's got a bearing on the side here, and that's quite nice because I can push it right up against there, and it's a lot smoother to operate there. So anyway, I'm just going to try it. I'll just show you it in operation here for a minute or so. But I'll go behind the lathe here so you can see what's going on. So that's fully extended in there. This is the first time that I've done internal boring. I'm not sure exactly how fast they're supposed to cut, but I think it just requires patience when you're inside and do it gently there. But even that length of time, I've probably got a lot of shavings in there. So I'll blow it out again with this long-nosed thing there. Well, that was quite a bit of sawdust, so I couldn't have been doing all that bad. Anyway, I'm just using a metal lathe bit that I sharpened up there. So I don't have the professional stuff, but I'm quite pleased with it overall. As I mentioned in the first video, I'm using 4130 aircraft tubing here. It says an 1/8 inch wall. And you can get it with a thicker wall, and I believe this is a thicker walled one that I just had laying around. And then I just bored it up, drilled it out to 1/2 inch. With these little tips that I made, you've seen those, with a 1/2 inch bolt and then a piece of metal welded on. You can have a variety of tips, and they're quite easy to change. Just a matter of slipping it in and then doing up the set screws. With the set screws, you use a fine threaded set screws. I wasn't able to get 1032s in set screws. They seem like they only have them in coarse, where I was trying to get some at a machine shop, but I went to a metric size, and they had them in metric there. Another thing that the first videos I didn't use this little pin where there's a slot ground in the end of the bar here. I'm using that now. It's very important here because you have to cinch these up really tight, and you can crack it on the bottom if you over tighten it there. But that makes it nice and solid. And once I did that, I had no trouble with this twisting. So anyway, I've found that I'd like to lathe more and more in there, but you got to quit sometime. And so I used calipers because I don't have the laser set up yet. And then I brought it down to the point here with another caliper, vernier caliper. And then when you bring it down till you get there, it'll transfer the measurement here. So if you don't have a laser set up, or you don't have one of those fancy calipers, you can actually use it with one of these by, when you have it in, measure the distance here quite accurately, and then take it out. You have to expand it to take it out, and then bring it back. Once it's in, bring it back to the same measurement, and you got a rough idea here. I found that I was quite close on this on the outside, so now I just have to do up the neck part there. But it's so easy to go all the way through. Okay, this is just how I checked the thickness of the wall. I'm using this caliper. I'm measuring the distance in there. This is right out in this point here. And I can go along and just, now I know I've got less out there. And then take that out. Bring it back. Okay, so that's the distance there, that the thickness right in this point here. I can take just a little bit more off of there. Okay, I'm going to move to the other side here, And I'll leave this, so to get in there with that little tip, I have to have this over there. And once I get it in, you can just bring it around. Now I can work over there. You can see how this works here. You can get some pressure on there. But it's so nice and smooth and easy to use, and it's secure enough that you don't, it doesn't feel like you're going to get a catch. You can just about do anything with it. I'm very impressed with the action. And for your finishing cut here, this is the first one I've done, so I'm not an expert at all. But you can, as you go along, you can feel it, the tip just cutting along, and you keep going so it moves along slowly, and you get a fairly decent finish inside. There we go. So that concludes this project, and hopefully I'll have another idea. I want to make one more articulating arm, but subscribe, stay tuned, and I'll have more great ideas for you to check out. And